welcome back to The Funny Thing Is. I'm your host, Nicole Birch, where every episode I bring you someone who shares their life-changing event, the medicine they took to get better, and the funniest lesson they learned along the way. Today, I've got a very special guest for you, a good friend of mine. Not only is she comedian, author, actress, she is also the creator of The Laugh of Attraction, and she is my favorite, emotional support cougar. Welcome to the show, Carla Collins.
Hello,
Yay!
beautiful. I'm just like, well, how many emotional support cougars do you have if
Just
I'm your favorite?
you.
Okay.
Just you.
All right. I just don't need a whole, I don't know if it's a gaggle, a pride, a murder of emotional support cougars, but I'm so thrilled to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. So usually I say how we met, which would be through like probably TK's. Shows.
TK's and Kara.
Like probably like a decade ago, maybe.
Not quite, because I just went through this with TK.
Okay.
In Texas. It was actually, I think we're on the 8th year.
Okay.
So 7 or 8 years.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Because I said, stop saying you've known me for decades. Because he says decades.
He says decades.
Like TK and I were, college buddies.
I'm like,
or
at this
something.
point, it'd be like, I knew her when she was a kid. And you're like,
exactly.
what?
He's like, I've known Carla for 40 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey,
don't
imagine
age
if TK
me.
was our babysitter.
I actually
I don't even know. Yeah, that's the thing we can't imagine. And I love TK. I love TK.
He's the
and Kara.
best. And his spot's great. I love his spot.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I'm playing there a couple times a year.
Yeah.
I
the
have the best time.
speakeasy. It's so great.
Last time, and I'm actually even thinking about going to Dallas. I'm not kidding. I know it's
We're moving. I think we're moving back to Kansas City, and so
Are you?
we'll be because my husband is from Dallas. That's how we met. We met at TK's in Dallas.
No.
So if you guys are in the Dallas area, please go to TK's Comedy Club. They have amazing food, great speakeasy downstairs. I cannot.
And you meet the love of your life, apparently.
And you meet
so
the love of your life.
That has not happened to me.
Yeah, when dating in LA, you have to
Yes.
outsource to
Oh,
another
God,
state.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course. My God. Yeah, we're not animals.
Oh, you'd be married in 6 months if you moved to Dallas.
Well,
I'm telling you.
that's what it was. And the last time, like, I was pulling really young. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, what are you?
my husband's 13 years younger than me.
Okay, and that's what I think that's the energy I need. But
Girl.
yeah, I mean, we're talking like half my age where I'm like, okay, do you need me to buy beer? But oh, sure. Well, as Nicole knows, I get really, really old and really young. I'm vaping and VapoRub, and there's no one in between. There's never anybody it's SpongeBob or SpongeBath. I like to start doing shtick because I'm nervous because I'm going to drop some truth bombs.
I love your shtick. First of all, what is I hate to be that comic that's like, oh, that one bit that you do, that's my favorite. But there's one where you talk about toxins and they're the only thing holding you together.
Oh, that's an old one, yeah.
It is. Every time you would say that, you could guarantee I would laugh out loud so freaking hard.
I got to bring that back. Well, I do a lot of, shticking on LA. Right now I'm doing, I feel like spirituality is the new Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
Like now everybody's just out trying to out spiritual you. And I'm like, I got Botox in my third eye. I'm doing my best, but I'm not I opened up my third heart chakra, my shadow side. I accessed the Akashic records and sacred geometry. And I received messages from Archangel Michael, the circle of elders and the ascended masters. So it was a transformational weekend as the starseed and a light worker. And I'm like, yeah, I had a banging weekend too. I dropped a Xanax in my Pinot Grigio and cut my own bangs. What are you saying? So when I first moved here, everybody was like, Carla, do it. You've got to do a cleanse.
Oh, God.
Do a cleanse. And I was like, what if toxins are the only things holding me together?
Yeah,
like,
it's my
that
favorite.
I can't risk it.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite. I love it so much. And I loved your comedy special. I was at the taping of your comedy special and I'm obsessed.
Oh my gosh.
And
I feel like I'm a lot better. I'm a lot better now due to my authenticity.
Yes. But also like you're also, to be on the podcast, you've already given me 18 clips that I can use, which I appreciate that as a podcaster. It's my favorite.
I like to deliver. I'm a soundbite slut.
Soundbite slut. I love it. Okay, so this is a show where you get to share a life-changing event, and we've talked that you've had quite a few. So what is the one that you would like to share today?
I would like to share because it's you and I love you and something that I haven't really talked about. Okay. In fact, I made the first joke about it this year on stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please.
So when okay, it happened twice. So that's a story in and of itself. But I grew up in Canada and I don't know what North American tour my parents were on because we were in a lot of small cities.
Okay.
And at this point during the tween years, which was a nightmare as an adolescent. We were in Wallaceburg, Ontario. I think it's a lacrosse champion of the world, or lacrosse capital of the world. I don't know. It was a population, maybe. It was literally 11,000.
Oh, wow.
And my dad owned a convenience store, a big convenience store called Pinto Variety. And I was this height at birth and worshiped my father, and I wanted to work in the store.
Okay.
So I was working in the store as a cashier at 11.
Ooh,
I know,
okay.
this is already dicey. And one night, 2 men came in with nylons over their faces, and I was held at gunpoint.
Holy crap.
And they literally said, "This is a stick up," which was super cliche. And I remember thinking that. And I also, age alert, thought about episodes of Starsky and Hutch. And on Starsky and Hutch, when they covered their faces, that's when they killed people. Like, those are the things when you're 11 that go through your mind.
Yeah.
And oddly, my dad had said, and he had just gone into our house was attached at the time. And he had just gone in for 5 minutes. So these people were
No
either casing,
way.
because they didn't. And there was another cashier. She was, I don't know, 18, and she just fell apart like the back end of Saturday Night Live. She was screaming and crying. And I'm 11. And I remember my dad saying, if they come in, like, just give them, like, if anything like this happens, you hand over the money. And my till was stuck because I was in the middle of an order. And he hit this side of my face, and I had stitches here.
No,
so it was the whole,
Carla.
like, so now it looks like I've got blood, like, very dramatic. And I handed over the money and then just sat back down. So obviously
he hit
shocked.
you.
Well,
Holy.
he was like, "Come on, hurry up!" And the barrel of the
That's terrifying.
It was terrifying, but I mean, if it happened now, I would just like crap my pants and
right.
pass out. You're pretty resilient when you're a kid,
Right.
and no repercussions. For some inexplicable reason, I was back working in the store. Which
I was just going to ask. So obviously, your dad didn't make you work at the store anymore.
No. I was there, as I say in Canada, selling bags of milk. We sell bags of milk in Canada. It's 3 bags of milk inside of 1 bag of milk, like a weird Russian doll. I don't know. It's a very odd dairy delivery system. It's like if you put Legos in a gravy boat. Sure, you can, but why?
Yeah.
So when I was 13, I was getting some dog food, get for my dog, and then 2 guys in ski masks come in, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. There's a 40-year-old woman behind the till. She's also freaking out. I'm now like,
you're like a pro.
I do armed robberies. This is what I do. I come open the tills again. This time it goes to court. They got it's a small town, and they were not prosecuted, but it's a horrifying thing to. And also, I'm like, okay, two armed robberies. There's 1 gun in Canada. Like, Canada's not. As you know, we don't have guns. And also, what kind of Squid Game parenting modality were my parents adhering to?
What are they doing?
Well,
okay, after that,
I was close to.
After that, did they keep making you work there?
No, we moved.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah. Apparently, the second one was
They were like, okay, this is enough.
Broke the camel's
back.
This
is enough. Okay.
So my medicine then was just like humor and, I was a dancer and like working at like the usual suspects. My mom and dad were into transcendental meditation very early. My dad gave me his, you get a mantra.
You get a mantra. So I wanted to talk to you about this because my friend started doing it and it like changed his life. And I know I've like done the research on it. Like you can dip into this deeper part of yourself like with really quickly. And celebrities are doing it now where they're like, hey, can you just give me 5 minutes? And they go to their trailer, they do like a 5-minute thing, and then they come out completely grounded or something.
Well, it's because you don't have to stop your thoughts. And, I've got like 3 monkeys masturbating in my brain at all time. Like, I don't know, like I'm an overthinker. And, I think RJ Spina, he's apparently a modern day ascended master. I don't know. That's what he says on YouTube. But he says like thinking's the new smoking. And it does. It's not your core. You're not working from your heart.
Right.
So it helps me because it doesn't stop the thoughts. And when you don't try it, something, they do stop.
Right.
So that was pretty powerful and very cool that they were into it. So, meditation had been a part of my life for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember thinking I was a champ because I went on to this great, successful life. And what I thought it taught me was I'm really great in a crisis. And
Okay.
I really am. I'm
I
a
mean,
mess
clearly.
afterwards, but I was a Don in university, and this is all gruesome, but we found someone hanging who survived. It was like, yes, because it set off the fire alarm, and
And you found them while they were hanging?
my friend and I were the first two on the scene, and I was great with it, like, because it's like, if you're in trouble, call me.
Yeah.
A week later, apparently, though, I'm just like,
Yeah.
just, developing mild opioid addictions. But so I just thought, and then people would ask me all the time, and I never spoke about it. And I think I just absolutely buried that really far down.
Right.
And just kept answering, listen, I don't have nightmares about it. I never think of them. I think I was really young and resilient.
Right.
So sorry, that's my stomach saying hello. Hollering out to the west side. So my stories is that, that's what helped me then. But really, if I'm going to be totally honest with you,
right,
it
please.
very much reared its head this year.
How did that happen?
Well, it kind of has for the last couple of years, in that, I was rocking it, and then I would have like financial problems. One was my dad, God bless, because he's left now. He gambled all of our money away. And so it was so associated with my very complicated relationship.
Are you
with
an
my
only
dad.
child?
No, I have a younger brother.
Okay.
We're really close.
Okay.
We call each other pal. We're very close. So.
Oh, I've met him.
Yeah, you've met.
Yes. Okay, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, Rick and I came in to see you. Yeah,
yes,
I
love him. Okay.
Yeah, he teaches in New Zealand. So, but we're very close. But both parents have passed.
Okay.
And really tricky with my dad, because he's associated with, I think he was living a double life. He was a gambler. I was very much, I look like him. We were really close. So I'm like, when do I start gambling and whoring?
Yeah.
Because like that hasn't, I'm hoping it doesn't kick in for me. And, so there were the addictions. So that's all very complicated. It was his store. He took all our money, so
a lot of tethers to him about that.
Yeah, a lot of tentacles on that octopus. And it was actually, I think, a mutual friend of ours, Kim Lee, who said couple of years ago, she said, well, you were held at gunpoint and they took all your money. Don't you think you might have some subconscious thing? Because then I'd be fine with money and then it would be gone.
Right. Oh my gosh.
And again, I was just like, I don't know. I don't have any issues with the armed robberies. And so finally, the universe starts with a whisper and then it's a scream.
Mm-hmm.
And I developed this whole thing called Chuckle and Chill, comedy and meditation and the laugh of attraction, because I wanted to marry my two loves. I know it's spirituality. I make a lot of fun about spirituality. I even do a whole bit in my act about horoscope shaming.
Like,
what's your sign?
Aquarius.
Aquarius, a hairy ass, more like it, because you're ruled by Uranus. Because I was like, humans have to stop being so divisive.
Right.
And racist and misogynist and against LGBTQ, but we're humans and we're garbage. We need to trash talk. So I try to keep it to zodiac signs.
There we go. Perfect.
Right? So I've solved the world's problems again, and just not mine. But this year, so I don't, when I was getting down, it was, something had happened, and my self-talk was horrific, which is the opposite of what I coach or what I, espouse when I'm talking to people about laughter, because laughter guides you more easily into meditation.
Right.
You release endorphins and then you can get out of your own way. And then a friend of mine got into a fist fight. And
this year?
Yeah, this year. And it absolutely and for me, that was a trigger. So
was it in front of you?
It was in front of me.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, armed robbery, the violence.
The violence.
I've been lucky that I haven't seen any violence. Also, a friend of a friend, I said, make sure this person's legit. Like, Google her. And she was like, I don't know if you can swear on this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she said, you tell Carla Collins to go fuck herself. And I had a visceral, I was like, first of all, I didn't kill your dog.
Yeah.
And she doubled down, and no one's ever told me that. Like, I've always had some nice sheltering going on. So I found that very violent.
Right.
And then because I think I'm an omega, I don't think I'm a beta. I'm surrounded by a lot of alphas, and maybe because my self-talk was so bad, I found like some of the people closest to me were kind of being mildly abusive or yelly.
Yeah.
And I was just, okay, what is happening?
Yeah. What am I attracting? Yeah.
And so this time, in order to get over this, at the beginning of the year, I started I haven't done art since high school. That's what I wanted to be, was a fine artist. And I
Okay.
was never leaving. I'm still Facebook friends with my art teacher,
Oh,
Mr. Olson, and I would never leave the art room because I never thought it was good enough. I started doodling, and my brother teaches art history, and he said, you should like go into like, maybe explore that more. So I started doing vision boards for people, and I called them vision pop boards because they're more like pop art.
Right. Oh my God, I'm obsessed.
And so I what I would do is say, Nicole, give me a couple of your favorite pictures and whatever you love and want to manifest.
Yes.
So I did it for a couple of friends. Now I'm selling them.
I
And then
love that.
I did one called Harm Money for a friend, and he's like, the settlement I was waiting for, it doubled, and I just got this new gig. So I did one for myself,
Yeah.
which someone just bought. And I'm like, it's me, but okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm a sellout. So this time I did art, and I hesitate to say this part because my grandma always said, if you're doing something, you do it on the down low. But in this case, I'm going to tell you, a friend of mine has been volunteering for the homeless. New Friends is the church, and we, like, you serve them like 4-course meal, like it's full on waitressing. And I started doing that, and I did not think about my life for those 3 hours. So I was run off my feet,
dude.
And there was so much grace. They're amazing. So I did that every week, but this whole thing shifted around. But this was also, the only way on the other side is through. And so I had to kind of say, and someone said, I think you're traumatized by those robberies.
Mm-hmm.
A dear friend said. And again, I was like, this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am. Yeah. So it was really kind of facing it. So it was a little bit of a different medicine this time.
Right.
And
well, it sounds like a lot, because it sounds like with when you do the act of service, there's something I watch Donnie Epstein. I don't know if you know who Donnie Epstein is, but like The Seeker and stuff. And so he's like, don't just do it for yourself. Like, if we're doing stand-up comedy, you're doing it to make them laugh. You're not doing it for yourself. And like, that always gets me out of my head. And then I do a better performance. And he goes, but then go to the next step. Now do acts of service for the world. And with that, I couldn't do that because I was like, well, I'm not in a place to give that much. And that's such a lie we tell ourselves, because when you do acts of service, it gets you out of your own head and it gets you out of your own shit.
It legit changes your life.
Yeah.
And because I was like, okay, well, because that was the whole point financially. And before, that's how I could help.
Yeah.
And I was like, or I, volunteered at an animal shelter, but I'm like, that'll just break my heart because I'm not sure where I'm going to land. So right now I'm just not, because Dr. Zira died. And I was like, it was grief happened. Like there was mortality, money,
violence,
like mom.
Yeah.
It was just things that kept happening until, and it was, that's the thing. Like I would rise back up, but then it would go away again. And I think it keeps happening until you get to the core of it and in your own core.
Yeah. Okay, two things. The vision boards. I'm obsessed with vision boards. I
have to make you one.
I would love it.
Yay.
I would love it, and I'll post it, and I'll pay for it, and all that stuff.
Oh my gosh, I'd love to get it.
It is because I've been doing them for a while, and then for my 35th birthday, I think, me and like 7 of my girlfriends went to Mammoth, and we rented a cabin, and I was like, hey, for one night, I brought all the supplies, and I go, we're just going to do poster boards. Here's like 80 magazines of all different kinds, and most of them had never done it. I think only one had done it. Most of them had never done it. And within like 3 months, one of them was pregnant. They'd been having fertility issues. One of them got a promotion. One of them, now I will say one of them, my friend Kelsey, she made 2 vision boards, which she ended up burning in a sink after about a week because nothing was happening for her.
Well, a week? Bitch, please. A week? Well, like the other thing, so like I do it and then I tell everybody, put it on your phone because we look at our phone 3,000 times a day.
Well, hold on.
This is mine. Again, that now someone else has purchased it, and I also...
This was my vision board at one point.
Oh my gosh.
In case you can't see that, but that's, that's so funny.
So I do it with like pastels and some water, and then you have an original piece of art is my deal. But then I got when you get those downloads, I don't know, like I'm such a guru, but I was like, no, I have to use more symbols because I think that's the universal language.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, again, because I was learning as I was going, and then people are like, I'd like to buy one. I'm like, and I'm like an episode of season 3 of The Bear.
Yeah.
When I'm doing them because I was like, I'm not really sure I know what the fuck I'm doing. And now people are paying for these. And I'm like, I've always been so insecure about the art. That's why I stopped it for all those years.
Right.
I mean, high school's got to be a good 15 years ago. Dog years. So, and then, you know, but I saw that they were effective, and they are therapeutic, but also, you know, nervous breakdown inducing for me because now, like, it's on the line, but it's like more symbols for them and colors. So then you have like a little piece of art, and I said, put them on your phone, like wallpaper or screensaver, because then you keep looking, and there it is, as opposed to just being in a frame somewhere.
I just love that it's also a piece of art that you can have. And honestly, because I like to do one every year, and I just talked about this with my friend, because she goes, we're going over ours from last year and seeing what I was like, if there's still stuff on the previous one, which there should be, they can still add it, or they can realize that they don't want it. Like, I used to always want to go on a sailboat. I've never been on a sailboat, always wanted to go on a sailboat. And then I looked at it this year and I was like, oh, fuck sailboats. I don't want to be on a sailboat. I get seasick.
Sailboats
take
it off.
5
years ago.
Yeah, I was like, get out. I saw a shark video. I don't want to, no, I don't need it.
There's oil spills. We don't
need to do
negativity.
it. I don't. And I get so motion sickness. I'm like, who do I think I am? So I'm like, so some stuff you can leave, and then you move, and then you get new stuff. And so like I try to do it annually or like every 2 years. But then I was like, oh, what a beautiful collage you could have on your wall to see like where you went and where you're going. I think that'd be great. I love that.
It's like a visual journal, you know, a journal come to life. So, and mine are like, they're a bit cartoony. I'm trying to get more portrait-like. I just did one for an 11-year-old.
Oh my gosh.
And I was, and that one I was like, I don't know what my hourly wage would have come out to. I'm going to guess about 10, because I just put like day and night I was working on that, because I'm like 11 and
you were 11, yeah.
Well, you know, here, and you know, her grandma was saying, you know, she's having a bit of a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you one of the reasons I wasn't affected by the armed robberies when I was 11, 13 is because I was bullied every day those years. I was pig nose for all 3 of those years and spilling over. And that was far more traumatic. Like, I literally would rather have a gun to my head than the bully. You know, classmates pulling down that bus window, and I'm like, here comes pig nose. Look, at some point in high school, all of a sudden I was prom queen. Like, I don't know. I went, and then they started calling me Bambi, which is more of a stripper name. But when you've been pig nose for years, you're like,
Bambi's
yes,
great.
Bambi.
Bambi's great.
Bambi. I am absolutely Bambi. I will become a stripper if it means I get away from that nickname. So those, and these are two things I'm literally just talking about for the first time this year.
Yeah.
So that's how we can compartmentalize.
Oh, yeah.
And as you can tell from this podcast, I'm an absolute chat monster, but I can just bullshit.
But I love it. But that's also your coping mechanism, but it's also a gift. A lot of coping mechanisms are a gift. How are you dealing with the that you're making money and then you lose it, you make money and then you lose it, now that you've gotten to kind of understanding, because it's still that happened this year, so that you're understanding the root of that? Are you already noticing?
Can I let you know?
Yes.
I mean, it's going great now.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
But as I said, it's really in its baby stages.
Yeah.
But I can only tell, and I mean, it sounds so simple, but in theory, but in practice, it starts inside.
Yeah.
You know, so yes, of course, like service and doing stand-up, I would get up and do 45 minutes at a garage sale. It's such great therapy.
I love it.
TK's is my oasis. Like, love it. But I really had to, I mean, and I don't like, you really have to, like, you got to dig yourself. And I've never been my type. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, okay, you're just going to have to, bang yourself. You're going to have to love yourself. And, there's this guy on YouTube, and honestly, he looks like a total douchebag. So I was immediately attracted to him, but he's great. And he does this whole, he says, I am Eric. So I'm Carla. I'm all that is. I'm perfection. I'm love. No one compares to me. And I'm like, I just started doing it because I knew I was going to take some convincing.
Yeah. How long have you been doing that?
Just a few months, and it's really worked.
Oh, see, everybody says it works. I listen to a lot of Abraham Hicks stuff and like a lot of like The Secret and that kind of stuff. But people are like, you need to do the positive mantras and the self-love mantras.
You do, because some of them just stick in your trauma. And we don't need to trauma bond.
Right.
With ourselves or anyone else. Like, acknowledge it, that happened. But I also had like this whole thing
Heal
about
it.
ignoring the 3D. Like, it's what's happening inside, and then your outer life, like I mentioned, not throwing my friends under the bus, friends and close people in my life yelling at, because I was yelling at me.
Yeah.
I was beating the crap out of myself. I was very angry with myself, and that
Mhm.
was reflected back to me.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by boundaries. So when when you're gentle with yourself, or, I know these are all the tropes. I'm throwing up in my mouth as I say them, because I
I
make
love 'em,
such fun of,
girl.
I make a lot of fun of gurus because I'm into it
Uh-huh.
on the
I'm the
down
same.
low.
I'm the same.
But I'm telling you, when you just say no, like everything starts, it's an inside job. We're all perfect souls. It's just getting closer to source. My higher self was high for a long time.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I was like, sober up.
Right.
Not unlike my guardian angels. I'm like, are you all blackout drunks? Everybody, like, have a burger and come to, and because I think I was going to the outside. Like, I was like, I want a sign from my mom. Like, where's my mom? Well, it's got to start with you, right? Because
Right.
we're all one. So it was more just connecting to source
Mm-hmm.
and saying, okay, if you don't like yourself, no one else is going
Right.
to. So if it's the mirror is reflected,
Right.
it started there. Service was like, oh, in the words of Spinal, it's too much perspective. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So there's that. You're fine.
Mhm.
By the way, like,
Mhm.
it could be so like,
So much worse.
and
yeah.
really doing like, cause it's always like, think of things you're grateful for. And it all sounds very trite, but when you really do, like, there's places in my life. I mean, look how abundant my hair is. Right there, I'm like, if my hair is a money tree, for God's sakes, why do they think they love me in Texas? They're like, she has reached peak Dolly Parton. I think she's our new Messiah. My hair is tickling Jesus's beard. They think it's the mothership. This is the advantage of being a little off-white.
You've
And
got
I'm
to
like,
go to Dallas. You've
Oh,
got to go. And then I'll
I-
see you all the time if I'm in Kansas City.
I know. Well, they like there's a possible gig where they said, girl, so we're talking.
Yes, a
It's
consistent
a
one.
podcast. It's
Great.
Yeah.
Do it, because we'll be there just to see Matt's family probably every 6 weeks. So we'll be there a
God,
lot.
I'd love that.
I know.
So
It's gonna be
yeah,
great.
and also just being open to, like, it's also that fear, because I think without knowing it, like I thought those armed robberies made me fearless, but then I started to really operate in fear, and that's
Right.
always
That's
just
terrible.
It's a shit
It's terrible.
show.
Mhm.
So you don't want to make any decisions out of that. But
It
you
affects
just
your
remain
confidence.
open.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
affects
of
everything.
course. So
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm just like, I'm going on tour in Canada. And I'm like, could it be Canada? It's also about changing your energy too, because I'm like, okay, LA,
I've had enough.
we might be on a break for a moment.
Yeah.
Okay,
dude, I'm
Deep
gonna
as
be
a lunch
honest.
tray.
I know in the last, well, obviously since the pandemic, there was that first like wave of people that left,
Yes.
and then it was fine, and then nobody came back, which I thought they would, and then now there's a second wave in the last 6 months to a year, and then one of my good friends who's very successful, Saturday Night Live, she's permanently living in Kansas City. I mean, unless she has to do the show,
Right.
but like that's how, like, the thing the pandemic taught us is we could do it from anywhere and to be open to anything. And that's when I wanted to kind of move back, because during the pandemic, Everly and I went there for 5.5 months.
I remember. Yeah.
We
when
were
I was
going to
in
go for
Canada.
2 weeks.
Yes.
Because we thought the pandemic was going to last 2 weeks. And then we just kept staying, and then there were fires and there were outbreaks, and so we were like, we're not going to go back yet. And she had 5 acres to run on. It was great. And I was like, do I move back? No, her dad's still in LA. And I've been fighting with that for like 4 years. I also had like a traumatic delivery and stuff that I was still, again, living in fear. So I couldn't make a decision. And then now I'm ready to make a decision. And of course, now her dad's like super involved. And I'm like, come on, dude. Like, but now he's also.
It's never easy, by the way.
It's never easy.
Don't think, well, I'm in a good place and now it's just going to be.
And because now it's a
Disney.
hard decision.
Yeah.
But now he's also looking at getting a house to like rent there, and so
Amazing.
but it's one of those things like, okay, I finally figured it out, and the universe is still like, yeah, but we're still going to give you lessons through it.
Yeah,
and
it's a video game. Like, it's still going to be, don't get me wrong, it's going to be a Japanese game show. So that I think that's the sometimes people are sold, and then once you make that decision or get over your fear, it's just it's an orgy. No, it's always just slightly, just a touch Fire Festival-y.
That's
like
what
it's
it is.
just always going to be
the cheese sandwiches
Yep.
in a styrofoam box.
Exactly.
That's what it's going to be. Where can people find you?
I think the best place is on Instagram.
By the way, you
started
started doing the positive like juju videos.
the
I found
chuckle and chills.
yes,
yeah.
I hadn't seen you in a while on socials, and I don't know if that's the algorithm or what. But when I saw it, I was like, I watched it like 5 times. I don't remember which positive message it was, but I was like, ooh, I love this energy.
So that's my
Yeah.
laugh of attraction.
Yes,
I do so it's the chuckle and chill, which is, comedy followed by meditation. Then those baby ones are just like where I try to
The
talk
big
about
ones.
like there's the God's head and more dandruff. Like I try to put a little humor in them. I'm just trying to take the woo out of it and make it accessible. Because a lot
Yeah.
of my friends are like, I don't want to go to meditation because the guy told me I was doing it wrong. And I'm like, it's breathing.
That's
We're not
it.
doing it wrong.
Yeah,
I wanted to make it accessible,
Right.
so that and then I was doing those little things, and I have like Mary mantras or affirmations where I'm like, I'm so rich, I'm wearing Fruit of the Illuminati underwear, or my skin is as smooth as jazz. Because mantras, if you're saying I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, and I'm in love, and you're living in your mom's basement, you're
It's
100G in debt, and you haven't had a date it's really tough to
disconnected.
break through that conscious
Disconnected.
barriers. So
Yeah.
and then now the vision pop boards are part of Laugh of Attraction.
Yeah,
'cause-
I cannot wait. I'm so
So-
excited to do that. Okay, so what's your
So,
handle?
Oh yeah, Carla Collins, comedian. ADD. I have ADHD. Carla Collins, comedian. All C words, but the good kind is what I say. And I have a couple of websites, but it's easiest on Instagram to get me. Yeah, I'd say that's the best place. Carla
Okay.
Collins, comedian would be great, or carlacollins.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this.
This has been a delight.
Oh my God, I
I kind of
love
want
it.
to French you.
I know. Let's French.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, guys. Thank you for watching The Funny Thing Is podcast. You can follow us at The Funny Thing Is podcast or at Nicole Birch Comedy. We'll see you next time.